Hi traders, I wanted to talk about using the Schwab's new dashboard and some of the functionality insights within it. So right now I am on schwab.com and I've just signed into the main page. I'm in a demo account right now, but it functions the same in terms of tabs, etc. So up top here, first thing I want to do is show you the new research dashboard tabs. So up top, I'm going to click on research. I'm just going to go to stocks here for now. And I'm going to throw in a sample example stock symbol here, just Apple here. All right, now you can see, and you might recognize this before, if you've been in here, you'll notice that previously what we had to do to access all of the data within the research tools is we had to kind of just scroll down and find the different segments. We are in the overview, as you can see up top, but down below there was chart, news, dividends, earnings, etc. Down below you got financials. There were a lot of different financials in here. There were comparisons you could make and other things we could look at too, but it was, you kind of had to scroll down, you had to find what you were after, you had to generally click on show more to really get to the core section of what you were after. But now with this tab up top, these set of tabs for the dashboard, it makes it really easy with one click to really get to the core information and quickly and accurately. Let's go through some of those and I'll share some insights as we go through them as well. First off, if we look at the chart, now normally on the chart you'd have to come down and scroll below and there's your chart. Now it is a smaller chart, but you'd actually have to find it and then also click on show more to pull up the larger chart section there. All we need to do now is go to the right, click on charts, and there you go. Full screen chart. You can make adjustments to this chart. You can see it right there. You can pop that chart out. There's some other interesting features as well. You can change it. Right now we're looking at the mountain study, but there are candlesticks, etc. in here as well to change if we wanted to quickly do that. All right, next up, dividends. Again, if we were in the standard Schwab site that it was before, we'd have to go down to the dividends and actually come down here and see some information on dividends here. It's not really giving us all we want, but if we wanted to get this plus more, we'd actually have to scroll down, find it, click on show more, and it would pull up what we're going to find with one click here. So just clicking on dividends right there, and there you have it. So very, very interesting information, and going all the way back to 2018 visually, you get to see what those dividend payments were each year. At the top, it lists those, like 81 cents over here, 87 cents. Were we increasing or decreasing dividends over that time frame? You can see out of all of those years going back to 2018, well, we did dip 1 year. So some traders might like to look at that. Dividend investors. Over here too, you can see a history of the X date. When are those dividends often paid? You can see the different years, get the different dates. You can also find those too on the Thinkorswim chart tab as well. Oftentimes they'll give those reported numbers when they come out. You'll see them as well. But yeah, great place to find them right here. Some additional information over here as well. All right, earnings. Now, earnings are really interesting too, because with earnings, you can see that we do automatically with one click. It takes us to the core information of earnings. We got earnings per share. We've got revenues. We've got cash flow from the statement of cash flows, how they've been doing over this time frame. And you can see right now, we have it set up on a quarterly basis. Now, there is annual right here as well. Giving us this information, and this is really quite useful to have too, because we can come over here and we can look and see, like for example, from 1 year to the next, like over here, yeah, our earnings increasing, and by the way, what are the expectations on the year for this particular company, any company we're looking at? Well, it's going up, and so this little graph shows us some interesting information. First of all, that the estimates are expected to increase on the year. That could be helpful for some investors that are looking for projected increases, but also the fact that the trend over the past few years has been up in earnings too. So it does provide us that information. You can see it right there. Now behind the scenes, it's really nice to see with that the chart graph and how the chart has responded to higher earnings. Well, it has gone up higher as earnings have gone up higher as well. And a lot of times that is the expectation when expected earnings are projected to go higher. Quarterly, if we want to just look at 1 quarter over here, what I could do is just click click on this, click on quarterly, and show you that, yes, now we're getting the quarterly estimate as opposed to the yearly estimate, which is really helpful if we wanted to jump and just say, hey, well, what's expected for the next quarter? And how, by the way, how does that quarter compare to what we're looking at over here? So it's $1.98 estimated coming ahead, but what was it quarter on a year-over-year basis, right? On a year-over-year basis, well, that was 185. So expected increase year over year. A lot of times traders, some analysts would like to see that number, as a comparative basis. You can go back another one here, 164. So fourth quarter, you can see 164, 185, 198. So some good information there too, but it does break down and gives you a longer term, I should say just more data with the quarterly number right there. Okay. All right. So that is earnings. Now news, there's just more news down here than we would otherwise find scrolling down before, but we are getting that again with just a single click. Over here on financials. So financials do give us the balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, all in one shot very quickly. So it takes us right to that core page where we could do some quick assessments here. A quick note too, just to make note of, that if you're used to seeing a lot of data flowing from left to right, like the Thinkorswim platform has when it's looking at fundamental financial data, specifically the fundamental financials, that does go from left to right. But over here, it goes from right to left. In other words, older data to newer data to present data. So you can see 21, 22, 23, all the way over here. I've seen, different variations of this, and different places have it differently, but Thinkorswim and Schwab are different from each other. And an important note on that is that if we are going right to left, you have to remember here too, that when we're looking at the annual trend, this bar graph represents that too. A lot of times I think just people naturally would look at that bar graph as they might a stock chart or a stock graph, right? From left to right, with the newest data being on the right side. Well, this is opposite. This is important to note. This is the annual trend. There are quarterly trends here too. But are you used to looking at a chart going this way? Because that's what this shows. If we were looking at cash underneath the balance sheet, we would see normally, hey, if I was looking at it from left to right, cash is dropping, but the reality is cash is going up. And here is your reference point over here, climbing higher, right, over time. So wanted to make that distinction as well in terms of the functionality. Of course, you've got the income statement with a single click. Great to have this data, though, for those fundamentalists out there right at your fingertips and see how they're doing all the way down to the bottom line here. Diluted normalized EPS. Left to right, right to left again. There you go, right to left for the most recent data. Earnings, notice this, they have been actually increasing, not decreasing, is the way we might, some of us might look at that. All right, next, great little comparative tool under comparison. You can see it over here to the right, and you can put in different comparisons with Apple or whatever the case might be, and you can see how they have been performing side by side on the chart with additional summary data listed below over each section. So say, for example, I wanted to come in here and I want to just type in, let's say, for example, Dell. You can see that there is Dell. You can come down here and make different comparisons with Dell across the board. So definitely some summary information, but I can scroll on down and hit other information too. Earnings per share. What do those look like? We can go up to 5 total companies over here too. And there's additional information down below too. Be mindful of that. Just keeps on going. A lot of good comparisons if you're looking for, maybe a stock within a particular industry or specific group. Lastly, the company profile. Under the overview, you got the company profile broken down into 2 areas. You can read more about it over here, and you can also, get information about it down below, right in here. But if you just click on with a single click, again, company profile, it gives you all the details, what the company does, very important to note, and the company's website, other sort of contact information, things along these lines. All right, everyone. Well, I hope that was helpful, and thank you for attending. Bye-bye.